Hello, 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 hello. Hello, YouTube world. It is a pleasure to join you. And we are just giving some of our folks a minute to get online. And as soon as that happens, we will get started. Hello, welcome, Olmeca. How are you? It's good to see you. It has been a while. Okay, she's still coming up. So she can't hear me. Hello, hello. Okay, so we are live and we are ready. I am your host, Arlene. Hello, Almeka. I was speaking with you, but you couldn't see me. So I am your host of today's Mastermind. This is the Ask Arlene Show Mastermind, as well as the Millionaire Mastermind. So usually we talk about this book. It's called The 10 Secrets to Overcoming Fear, Getting Unstuck, and Living Your Best Life After COVID-19. It is a best-selling book on Amazon, and it's internationally best-selling. So what we're going to do today is usually take a chapter of the book. And today, the chapter of the book that we're on is chapter number 5, which is health and fitness. And so what I would love for you guys to do as we're having our conversation, our mastermind conversation, I'd love for you to type in the chat because I can still see the chat, okay? So that you can ask your questions and participate in the conversation with us. Now, some of the rules and regs of the mastermind before we get into it. In this community, this is a positive community. So we encourage people to share their thoughts, their ideas, and their comments, okay? And we do not discourage people from talking. So we encourage each other. Number 2, if, however, you do have something to share, you're going to click the link. Okay, if you're on live, you're going to click the link that raises your hand. I will see you and then acknowledge you and give you an opportunity to speak. Okay, so it is a pleasure to be on with you, and you can continue. Like I said, you can also talk with me in the chat. I'll be able to see it from time to time. So first, we introduce ourselves so that everybody knows who everyone else is, because we have some new faces. We have a new face here today others haven't seen. I know who she is, but you guys don't know yet. She's going to have an opportunity to introduce herself, and she's going to share with us some insights about health and fitness because she's very healthful. She's slim and trim. And also about wealth building, because I know that's one of her areas of expertise. So we're talking about health and fitness, but also wealth building because we have her with us. And so we definitely want to know about wealth building. So I am your host, Arlene McLaren. I am a life coach and a business consultant, which means that I help you to move forward in your business, project, or endeavor. So have you ever wanted to start a business, but you just haven't seemed to get started? Or you want to 10x the business that you already have, and you know exactly what you need to do, but you just haven't done it yet? Or maybe you want to launch your own book, start that book and write it because you know you have a story within you, but you just haven't seemed to do it. Or maybe it's not business or a book at all. You want to lose that 10 extra pounds, for which we have the 5K step challenge so that you can lose that extra weight. Well, today you're in the right place because what we're talking about today is health and fitness, which is in line with our 5,000 step per day challenge. We want you to sign up and join with us at askarleneshow.com and click on 5K steps challenge. Okay, so we're going to allow our guests and our masterminds to introduce themselves and tell you what they do in the world. And nobody is required. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Just raise your hand if you would like to. Go ahead. Go ahead, Dennis.
All right. My name is Dennis Braggins, and I'm actually launching a book called, with the help of Miss Arlene McLaren, Miss Coach Arlene McLaren. I'm actually launching a book called A Conscious Food for Thought, and it's pretty much a book to help people to recognize life traps and schemas and not have to perform them. You know, coming from my perspective of things that I've been through throughout my life. And it's a treat. It's a treat. Other than that, I am working on getting my business up and running called With a Pill LLC. It specializes in selling wholesale and retail vehicles. And it's been a daunting task during this pandemic, but I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Beautiful. Thank you for joining us, Dennis. And the challenge is up, but you are definitely worthy of the challenge. You're accomplishing it and you're doing great things. And we're just happy that you're joining us and you're a part of this community of 400 and add people now. We have 400 and plus members of our mastermind group. So we need to celebrate that. Okay, go ahead. Who wants to share next? Okay, well, we're going to get started then, if you don't want to. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I was giving other people space. My name is Ruth Elizabeth. Excuse me, I'm with Diamond Matrix Masters, and we do like a lot of bringing people into the soul sovereign self. So I do a lot of diamond healing and energy work. I also have a book. I've got a book too, which I absolutely love. Okay, it's teaching on quantum law versus human law. So we're very much bound in human law constructs at the moment, and we talk about our sovereignty to our soul, which keeps us upright on our feet. That's where the power is. And so, yeah, I share a lot of information about that, and we have some diamond schools and things like that. So thank you for the opportunity to speak, Arlene. Always happy to get it out there. It's a time that we are coming into full connection with what we're meant to be here doing. So I'm with you. Let's motivate the people and get them in their power, so that we get off and do what we're here to do. So
exactly.
Very much for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and congratulations on your book. We're very happy that you're moving forward and doing things in the world and, bringing people along with you so that we can all be prosperous, not just financially, but also in terms of bringing forth the information that we need to share with the world. And so we're glad that you're going to share some more stuff with us about wealth building and about health, being healthful in this mastermind. And now we're going to allow Miss Olmeka if she'd like to share. If not, we'll get started. Okay.
Sure, I was using the computer like it was the phone, but it's not a touch screen. It was like, no, that's not gonna work. Yes, it's so wonderful to be here again. I'm getting used to showing up. It's a beautiful thing in life to show up. I am a pray, heal, drum warrior goddess becoming, and I help people feel, think, and live the life that they want to live and release the fear and anxiety within and without, and use the drum and sound healing and vibration to change their lives into something that they're proud of, and they just wake up with so much excitement every day to live.
Okay, wonderful. Waking up with excitement to live. That's awesome. Yay, we want to definitely have excitement and joy in living. Oh, I see you wrote drum healing is immense. Great. Yeah, you guys can talk within this chat as well as the YouTube chats. And so keep in mind that I want you to keep going and sharing and asking questions as we're going along. Okay, so today we're talking about step number 5, which is health and fitness. So I'm going to tell you or share with you what I have to share from the book, one little snippet, and then we'll get responses and share information as you have it in your heart and in your mind. So for those of you that have the book, we're on chapter 5. Yay. I see some of you raising your books. Thank you. Okay, so the proverb or quote says, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food." And it's by Hippocrates. And it says, "It is truly the definition of insanity to think that we can eat ding-dongs and ho-hos and coffee toffee twisted frosty and still feel good and healthful, productive, and progressive. This is definitely not the best plan. As I was worried and stressed about the passing of my mom, I wasn't home focused on what I was eating. I had also always thought of myself as a healthful eater, as I don't eat meat. And so I thought that I was doing all right where this one was concerned. However, after my mom passed away, I progressively began to eat more and more, and not necessarily the right thing. So we don't always realize that we're not eating healthfully, even though we mean to be healthful. And one of the reasons why I said I would love to hear about wealth as well as health and healing is because I believe there is a connection between the two. When you are healthful, personally in your body and in your mind, then you can begin to be more creative in order to put together your plan and your purpose in terms of building your wealth, building your business, or selling your jewelry, because I know that's what Omeka does, or producing your books and writing poetry like Dennis does, or like we have Bertram on, he's a part of our group as well, in terms of being a speaker. How can you speak from the heart if you feel sick? Okay, you're not thinking of opening your heart to others. You're thinking about, oh my gosh, what do I need to do to cause this to stop? And another one of our clients is on, she was experiencing pain this week. Okay, so she does lives on YouTube and she has lots and lots of followers. But when she felt the pain, she couldn't do her YouTube channel. She couldn't talk about what was going on. She was stuck. And we don't want anybody to be stuck. So these are the tools that we're using, health and fitness, and eating right so that we can be more successful, and also more wealthy. So how does this relate? How does health and fitness relate to building wealth? Please do share, Ruth. That was a setup.
Seriously, I mean, we've gotten so off track, with where we get our food supplies. So to me, purchasing from big distributors is one of my things. So like we have to stop this. We need to get down into small, farmers markets, for small growers, and get real fruit and veg into us that actually has got the nutrients without the poison associated with it. And it's really quite logical. I mean, we think that we're, logical thinkers, but we're not in the way we purchase. So to me, we should all actually be immediately changing that. It's all about where we purchase and what we're purchasing from. But it's also about circulation. So circulation is, like, I'm a sports therapist and nurse in the background of my life, and everything's about circulation. So when you're circulating your body, when it's open, it's able to circulate, it aerates. It's actually quite natural for everything to be moving at a faster and easier pace as energy flows through it. And so, yeah, food is like immediately you feed your brain and you've got a body that's going to function during the day. And it's absolutely immediate. You get the right dose of electrolytes and salts and that within your body, and it's absolutely rejuvenating everything and keeping current flowing. So the chi, the energy, your connection to source, everything actually functions way better. And of course, then you're able to intuit better and do better. You're actually way more responsive. So, yeah, absolutely. If I may have just offered that.
Yeah, I definitely am grateful for what you shared, in that some of us don't use a farmer's market at all. Ruth, some of us have not been to a farmer's market and are like, what? But I'm so glad that you shared that, because if we can eat fresh food from the earth, then that further lends to our healthfulness, as opposed to the processed foods that are being sold in the store. Someone said to me once that when you go into the grocery store, you should eat from the sides, not eat from the middle, because the things in the middle, all of the boxes are full of processed things that are not necessarily good. But if you eat from the outsides, all you're eating is vegetables and the meats. Okay, so perhaps you're going to, hopefully based on your grocery store, you're going to be able to get some of the more organic foods. But even in terms of a market from outside, that's like straight from the field to you and skipping out the middleman, which is awesome. And I know Omeka wants to share something about that, because she's really helpful. I mean, this is her thing. Madame?
Yeah. So many lessons on the body, mind, and spirit. I've been going through fear of doing my mastermind and fear of doing something that I love, which is drumming. I was like, how does that work? But it seems to be working. And yes. It's in my cart in my Amazon, along with my fire stick and my skin brush. Um, yes, I'm needing to clean my lymphatic system, so skin brush is very good for that. In terms of that moving and circulating, the lymph is between kind of the organs and everything, so got to keep that as well as flowing as possible. Let's just say it like that. Okay, I was making a statement, but at any rate, in terms of my hands have been going through well, that word breakout. I think I need to do a meditation on that because all my life is like eczema breaking out. It's like, what do you, and a lot of it was wanting to break out of the mold that my mom or even me or my family put me in. And I was just feeling so different. And for a lot of that life up until not too recently, but I managed to find the joy and do different things than other people around me, and create many different lives inside of this one. The tower garden has been a wonderful way to grow fruits and vegetables. Well, I'm looking forward to the fruits, but greens is what I did last year, and it took me a minute to understand, and I'm still learning about dirt versus aeroponics versus hydroponics and minerals that you add. And, I'm like, okay. So as I'm gardening in the whatever way I'm gardening in the chemtrails and flying over with the planes, I just try to just keep, it's all a balance.
Okay.
So, yeah, me and
That
talking
makes sense. For those of you that may not know, her tower garden is actually at her house and it literally is a garden, but it's going up as opposed to a garden going out. And so if you don't have a lot of space but you'd like to be more healthful, there are ways that you can still begin to eat more healthfully and be able to plant and have a garden by using exactly what Omeka was saying, which is a tower garden. So I'm encouraging you guys, if you're interested in getting some more information on that, to contact us so that you can talk with Omeka and have her help you to get your own garden going right in your apartment in New York City or in your apartment in Chicago. I'm from New York, so a lot of you listeners are from New York as well, but now I live in California, so I can have a garden. But
you can have one anyway, just to be able to see.
Give you an opportunity to get some insight on that if you've not done so. And then secondly, about what Ruth was talking about, having a farmer's market, looking into that in your area. So we're glad that both of you have shared on that. I would like to know about wealth. I would like to know about wealth creation in terms of health and fitness. Are you suggesting that, I see that there are a lot of people who are very wealthy and they're not necessarily healthy. Okay, just like we see people who are also very healthy, but they've not really invested in their wealth. So I think that we want to endeavor to be well-rounded people so that we have the health and fitness and we have the wealth in our businesses and in our endeavors. So what have you done in addition to, okay, we're talking about you have a garden of your own and you're going to the farmer's market. What are we doing in terms of gaining wealth that we can all glean from and learn from and grow from in terms of healthfulness?
Well, like you said, if you can have all the wealth you want, but to me, I have to know how to heal myself. I'm not, people run to the doctor for a cold. I'm like, I don't get it. So I've been 40 years figuring out why my skin is breaking out in the first place. It's like, okay, you learn that you're allergic to certain things and you go get your little test or whatever, then they give you a shot to not be allergic. And I'm like, okay. So getting in touch with ourselves, our prosperity consciousness, some people don't take a walk. Some people don't live around trees. It's just the disconnection. It's a constant disconnection. So it's time to reconnect, It's time to reconnect to nature, to the squirrels, to whatever nature you can get a hold of. And I was saying before, I was just saying, just to be able to, I don't care if you're a little kid in school or whatever age, to see a seed, one little tiny seed. And I decided to grow the tower garden last year from the seeds that they gave me. You can actually buy little seedlings and plant those, but I had to see it from the seed. And there was one seed that was buried for 2 months inside the rock wool, and it decided to sprout one day.
Okay.
It's like, it's only supposed to be in there for a week and a half. I'm not supposed to, but
Okay, one of the things that you mentioned, Olmeca, before was this thing about eczema. I wanted to point out that it is something that I had before. And one of the things that I realized is that it would be exacerbated whenever I was stressed. So when I started arguing or I was having like a heated conversation with someone, that's when I had the symptoms. And ironically, it was on my hand. I was um, not analyst, but and I don't want to say political hack, a person who worked for politicians. All right. And so I was doing a lot of handshaking, and I noticed I would have this breakout. Very stressful job. Well, guys, once I stopped working in that capacity and stopped doing all of that handshaking, the eczema disappeared. And I was told by a health practitioner that he could make the eczema stop if I began eating certain foods, like more foods like what we were talking about, the organic foods, the farmer's market type of foods, not foods from the grocery store. Like almost nothing from the grocery store was I allowed to eat. And he said he could heal my eczema in 2 weeks. And all of these years, I had been using steroid creams in order to get rid of it. Well, once I took the prescription that he gave me, which was to be more healthful, there was absolutely no more eczema. And the crazy thing is, he said 2 weeks, and I bunked at that because I know what I had been doing for years, but it actually cleared up within less than the 2-week period. So I really do know that there is something that is associated with dis-ease. And if we begin to be less stressed and more relaxed and more at ease, which is why we need coaching at times, then we're going to be a lot less full of dis-ease. And unfortunately, this is a really relevant topic because there are so many women who are passing away from heart disease right now. And they say a lot of what is causing the heart disease is exactly what we're talking about, the foods that we're eating and the level of stress that we're experiencing. So it's really important that we endeavor to investigate in this area. And as Olmeca said, you said walking is a great thing to do. And I know that's what you do a lot of. You do a lot of exercise. What are some things that you do? You're slim and trim too, Mr. Spraggins. What are some things that you're doing in order to be healthful?
Thank you for asking. It means a lot. So first and foremost, speaking on eating from a organic nutritional standpoint, I believe it has so many motivating properties to a point where it could decalcify one's pineal gland and make them more conscious, to their surroundings, to their insides, and to be all the way honest, coming up on this platform, I was so intimidated. I had to actually exercise and eat antioxidants and eat different type of berries and different types of nuts. I had to consciously eat and watch what I consumed before I could gain up the self-esteem to even, approach this wonderful platform. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So with that being said, I've been pescatarian, I believe it is. It's kind of like it's kind of like a vegetarian, but I ate eggs and what else was it? Eggs and tuna, I think it was, cottage cheese and things like that, and it really uplifted my spirits. It really did. And I believe it is a direct correlation with wealth, although I haven't ventured out into that atmosphere just yet, but I believe it is a direct correlation with what one consumes mentally by reading and consumes by digesting, by eating, uh, to get on the correct path of gaining wealth properly, because it's all about everything.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Dennis. Dennis said that one of the things he's doing is eating as a pescatarian. And so, for those of you that are not aware of that, that means he's not eating red meats, he's not eating poultry, he's only eating fish, which is great because they say fish gives us a lot of energy, and fish is also associated with very many healthful, positive, healthful things. And so, congratulations to you. And then you said cottage cheese. Wow. I don't know too many people these days who are eating cottage cheese. So I celebrate you because they say that it's very good for you.
It's a very
very flavorful, but they do say it's very good for you.
It's actually a very high source of protein.
So yay! I'm serious. I don't know too many people who can do that. So yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. So I know that you said you're doing the farmer's market, but what are some things that you're doing in order to increase your wealth and begin to be more expansive in that area?
Speaking on me?
In general, not necessarily you, not putting you on the spot, anybody who wants to share.
Well, I'll continue real quick. I'm actually working on changing my mind frame and having that shift of view, decluttering my mental filter, and all that pertains to what I'm eating. All that pertains to what I'm watching. And that's your video. I'm actually doing the 5K a day step challenge, and it's been great so far. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's really been building up my testosterone level through working out my legs. I've been doing squats. I've been doing curls. I've been really working on myself to be a better projection of myself. Front stage and back stage.
Awesome. Awesome. So for those of you that don't know, the 5,000 step per day challenge is where we're walking 5,000 steps every day in order to enhance our minds and enhance our bodies so that we can be more healthful and strong. So I'm encouraging you to participate with us if you're not already participating. And also maybe you're already healthful. And so you join the 5,000 step per day challenge and you're actually encouraging somebody else to move forward and to get up off that couch because they see you doing it. Or you bring a friend along because you know you have that friend that needs to move. But they're not necessarily going to do it unless you participate. The statistics show that we're 97% more likely to follow through on the activity if we have a group or a team of people that are working with us to accomplish it. So we're talking about health and fitness. I know that a lot of us go out to fast food restaurants or we go out to restaurants, period. And so when you're in your house, you can do your organics and your hydroponics and your tower garden food. But what are you guys are eating when you go out to public places? Because I find that's one of the biggest challenges for me, going out and being exposed to everything and wanting to pick a healthful dish outside of a salad. Like everybody knows you can eat salad, but outside of that, what are you eating?
It's just nice to see in the last 40 years, so many different, Ruth, so many different options. And I mean, 40 years ago, being a vegan, and I'm about 99% vegan now, but there wasn't on this coast. See, I'm not in California. On the East Coast, we didn't even have like health food in the store. Now, health food, that's one of those trick things because you go to the health food aisle, you don't need to eat most of that either. Stay in the produce. Yeah, it's just really, people don't read labels. Read labels. The more ingredients, keep it on the shelf. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you can't pronounce stuff. But yeah, so it's just nice to see. I met some people a couple of years ago, and they started a restaurant, and they were at a festival, and there was a line going across the park, and I was just it's just so exciting to see that. And I live in Atlanta, outside of Atlanta, and my friend is making millions of dollars selling kale sandwiches. So the sky, there is no limit, no cap, as people say. That would say the sky's the limit. So people's consciousness is being raised, you know, and there's people wait on line for 4 hours. It's Impossible Burger, but it's not McDonald's. I don't know people waiting in line, or maybe they take a little less time, but 4 hours for McDonald's. But that, it just gives me hope in terms of because what you eat is also becomes your energy. So if you're eating all these dead, sick animals, good luck on, you know, being a positive, loving person. I guess it happens, but yeah. So I there's lots of choices. That was my point. And I've been carrying Tupperware around, or whatever you want to call it, for years. People used to laugh at me like, there she go eating the rabbit food. I'm like, everybody wants to eat plant-based rabbit food now. So, you know, going along with the rest of the people is not always, you know, sometimes you just have to do what's best for you, or, you know, you just have to be the visionary. So I appreciate myself for that. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for
I used to have a
sharing
vegan
that.
restaurant too, so just seeing thousands of people change, and it wasn't just to change everybody into being a vegan, but just being able to, somebody comes in with a headache, and I'm like, have a seat, let me massage your head and your hand and give you some water. Have you eaten water today? You know, just simple check-ins that we can do for ourselves. And it was the last time you went to the bathroom. It was like, oh, last week, that's not working. That's why you get a hit, you know. So yeah, getting to know ourselves.
Okay, so you said some really good things. One of the things you said is that you yourself carry your containers with you when you go out, and so you can make sure that you're putting good energy into your body. And another thing that you said that was really interesting is you talked about the Impossible Burger and people doing lines around the block so that they can eat the Impossible Burger. Well, I have had the Impossible Burger and it is phenomenal. It tastes so good. But because it tastes so good, I'm a little bit skeptical, because they call it the Impossible Burger because it's almost impossible for you to believe that it's not meat. But then the question is, what's in it? Why does it taste so amazing? Okay, so thank you so much for sharing that about the Impossible Burger and veganism. Okay, what are you eating when you go out to eat outside of salad so that you can maintain your slim physique? Go ahead, Ruth, share with us.
Well, I mean, I grew up on a dairy farm, okay? So I'm a farm kid, actually. And we used to have so many fruits and vegetables that we would just be grazing all day. So it'd be just, you know, passion fruit off the vine, bananas, whatever. And it was just amazing. Mango trees. We grew up on that property just eating and grazing all day. So we got used to it, you know. So it's like every time I just put a blueberry in my mouth, that is like a whole vitamin for me. So it's like I'm ingesting this amazing, pure thing from nature, and I absorb it, and it's like the most precious thing to me, you know. And then I'm not producing produce for myself, understand that, but at the same time, when I have, you know, made gooseberries, or sorry, grown gooseberries, you know, and every time you take in that fruit. Yesterday, or at the farmers markets the other day, we bought blueberry trees and fig trees, and there's 3 figs on it, and that to me is a celebration. And I sat down and munched on that first fig that came off. That is a spiritual thing, okay? You do that. Why on earth would you buy vitamins from a pharmaceutical place? You know, it's like, we know, surely we know. Okay, you know, I haven't been in one of those places forever. Okay, you just got to get your taste buds working. And honestly, talk about taste buds, you need to actually open up and unlock your 6th taste bud. And I remember when I came into that, I couldn't eat meat after that. My taste buds brought in every sensation. And after that, I could actually taste cottage cheese. So I know why you can cottage cheese, Dennis, because you got a 6th taste bud open. Good on you. When it comes to what the energy itself does, and if you're wanting to associate that with finances, it creates natural movement. And when you're naturally able to move because you're energized to move, you have a pure connection to nature and source, your soul sovereign source. And when you're actually working more intuitively, you are rising, you're getting off your stump, as Abraham Hicks says, and going out, and you'll actually meet up with your destiny. So it's sort of like you can only find success when you move, and it starts all the way through. So yeah, food is really important to wealth. It connects you, but it's the action of movement, you know. You actually have to, you know, you can't say that you're going to be healthy and not put the right substance into your system. You have to move, and you've got to go do it. And this is where people have no action. They just don't take action on what they need to do or know that they're meant to do. So it's not that they don't know, they actually don't need education, it's obvious, but at the same time, they need to take the action, and action all the way through to success.
Wow, I love what you said, Ruth, about action, eating the natural foods, bringing forth movement. Are you guys aware that, in line with what she just said, how amazing that is and how truthful it is? I was told just today that in the prisons, and I know many of you may not be involved with prison or aware, but they literally give the people carbs, breads and rice and pastas, to literally make the people slow and sluggish so that they won't be agitated and be able to move. So guys, if this is true, that these are the things that are literally being given to prisoners so that they won't move and that they'll be obese, well, not necessarily obese, but heavy and less likely to be active, then what Ruth is saying would be the opposite of that. And that would make sense, that if we endeavor to eat those more healthful things, that we're going to open up our bodies and just be able to have more movement and be more physical. Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us, Ruth. Insight. Ooh, beautiful. I would love to have somebody share with us, in addition, if somebody is listening to this call, because we have several people on who are listening right now who are not talking, and maybe I suspect that they're listening to the masterminders and saying, wow, this woman Ruth is really helpful. She's going to the market, and Dennis is eating cottage cheese, and and you, Omeka, you're building a tower of vegetables. Like, wow. I'm just guessing that one of the reasons may be that people are thinking, well, if I'm not there right now, and I want to be there, how can I get in? Because I've been eating the pasta. I've been eating, my challenge is the salt and vinegar chips. They're not potato chips. They're salt and vinegar veggie chips, because I opted out of the potato chips into the salt and vinegar chips because I thought it was going to be more healthful. And then I got stuck because they were so flavorful. So what suggestions can you discuss that would help us to facilitate being more involved with the fresh fruits and vegetables that you mentioned, Ruth, or the organic foods, if you're not there? Because if you're not there, like you said, your sixth taste bud is not open. So how do you get started?
Well, it does take a detox, you know. I mean, people go through detoxes for many different reasons. You know, that once you become overloaded, your body is going to detox. And that is a fantastic time to actually start on a true path, you know. So detoxing naturally, people have got the strangest idea, like this is really maybe a little disgusting, but at the same time, like diarrhea is a natural form of the body letting go. And yet we go and block ourselves up with medications from the pharma sector. You know, it's like, are you kidding me? Your body is just detoxed and you've just gone and blocked yourself up again. We've got such strange concepts. The body works perfectly. I actually trust my body. My body, it works really well. And your body does work really well if you can just do everything in moderation. So I don't do anything, like enjoy those chips. Honestly, I know that when I open a chip packet and I get one into me, I'm going to eat the whole packet. So I don't buy them very often, you know. So it's like, it's really not hard. You can have your treats and still be allowing the body to function. And that's the biggest thing, is bringing your body back so that it naturally eliminates correctly and rebuilds its energy resources and things like that. It's not hard to do. And then, of course, the exercise. People go, oh no, I can just get healthy without movement. That's not true. Okay, you're having yourself on. Doesn't balance if you're not moving, because you can even go out to the bush and you'll find that your elimination happens quite naturally because all of the natural energies empty your body. So everything works. You go to the bush, go out to nature places, and you will find your body will respond and detox. It's wonderful. I do energy work, so it's sort of like it's all about elimination, opening up, and movement. Did I answer the question? I'm not sure. Sorry.
Yes, yes, beautifully, beautifully. We were just listening so intensely. You said going to
Yeah, I
the
just want to.
bush.
Well, go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
because you do
No,
your
please
synopsis.
go ahead. Thank
No,
you
I
for
was just.
sharing
She
what
was
you
on
shared.
the cleansing of the. Yeah, I was just to keep ourselves cleaned out the flow like a pipe. You don't want to have it clogged up. You got to put Drano in it. So yeah, so and she was talking about elimination. So I was just gonna say keep your colon clean, but it's really from your mouth, really from your thoughts, because you can eat. They have seaweed. It's still salt and oil, but it's seaweed instead of a crushed up whatever. They have all types of chips, cauliflower. So I mean, they got options, but seaweed with a little salt and oil, it's already sitting in the pack, ready for you to open it. I mean, if you feel that's healthier, but yeah, a lot of times salt and oil like that is parasites. So you may look into that. Getting rid of parasites. They crave those types of things. Sugar, salt, and oil, especially fried things. So you might notice if you're itching somewhere or when you crave those chips or, get you some seaweed. I mean, they have the seaweed without the salt, and get you an avocado, rip the seaweed and eat the avocado and the seaweed. There's your,
Beautiful.
it's not a chip, but
I
or
love what
celery.
you said,
I mean, some people say it's the crunch. So, but the
Absolutely.
parasites, they don't want celery. So yeah, eat celery but yeah, that cleansing thing, you gotta cleanse, whether it's once a month, once a season. Me, I realized, you say disgusting. I talk about enemas all the time and stuff, but I had to take like 3 the other day. I'm like, what are you doing? So to know your body is not enough. You must know how certain foods affect. So I need to know, and I do know. It's like, come on. You've been stressed. You've been taking care of your mom. You're not, all of a sudden you're a caregiver. I mean, I can't say I got too much nature, but I feel like that's all I got. Sometimes I'm like, I need people. So thank goodness for the masterminds for me. But yeah, keeping your colon clean. They got stuff at they got the pharmacy, but next to the pharmacy, they got the herbs and the plant, it's in a bottle, but you get some Senna or Cascara Sagrada or Swiss Chris. I don't know what country you're in. Everybody's got colon cleansing herbs. Like Creator put everything we need. Now, if you don't know what to go in the yard or go to the store, to the herb store, there's so many stores now. Like the regular supermarket has like herb, echinacea, and all different kind of things. So yeah, and get those greens. This time for turnip greens. Bitter stuff is great. And keep that colon clean. All right. People don't like enemas. They don't like going. I'm like, okay, that's the water, but that's the fastest way to get stuff out. It's like, putting that Drano in is gonna, or whatever. They have natural ways. Drano is not a natural thing. We got septic tanks, so Drano is not so good. But a good wine for detox. Oh, okay. Now you have to tell me about that.
I think somebody really liked that as an option. I see hearts.
Let them know.
Yes.
I don't know.
I see comments coming up.
I don't know about that.
A good wine for
that
detox,
one was a hit, Ruth. That one was a hit. I'm so glad that you put that in. For those of you who are drinkers, for those of us who are not, well, we're going to stick with the kale chips. But it seems like a lot of you have hearts there in the chat, although you haven't been talking with us live. So I just want to say thank you for that. And I also want to say thank you to you, Mecca, because you mentioned substitution. Substitution is awesome because we're accustomed to eating the things that we're accustomed to eating. So if we're eating, like some people are, I don't want to say eating chips because it's not really chips. They were vegetable chips, okay? So it wasn't just chips, but some are accustomed to eating some of the not so good stuff. And now you're giving us an option because I thought, well, veggie chips, veggie straws are better than potato chips, but then there's an even better option, which you just gave us, the substitution for the kale chips.
Yeah,
So
kale
I
chips
will
or seaweed.
continue
Veggie
to.
straws are made with potato starch. So, just read the ingredients. I mean, most of those things are made with potato starch.
Okay,
So
so I'll continue to endeavor
the
to be
vegetables
better
is for
and
the
better
color. Ain't no
with my
vegetables in there.
substitution process.
Get you a dehydrator and actually dehydrate some vegetables and put some salt on them.
Well, right
But
now we're doing a lot of
the fast
traveling.
is easy.
Oh, Mecca,
Fast.
right now we're doing a lot of traveling. So it's really not convenient for me to, set up shop and do the dehydration, or I don't have a stove, and,
Yeah, I
we're
got
pretty
you,
much
I got
eating out as we travel, and we're staying in
Fruit.
hotels and we're moving and grooving. So I eat out a lot,
Not apple seeds.
like many of the people on the call. So that's why the question was, what are some things that you can eat when you're out that can facilitate us being more healthful and moving forward in the wealth and in the riches? Another thing that you said, or that Ruth said, and she stepped away, was walking in a forest. Ruth, you said something about being out in nature as a source of opening up and, releasing. So two things. One, I want you to talk about that sixth sense that you talked about, and also, what are we eating when we go out to these public places, because that's not necessarily an organic person's garden.
Okay, let's get this straight, all right? When you go out for dinner, you should have a bloody good time. Sorry, that's my Australian coming out of me. Come on. I mean, when you go out and you're celebrating something, I really do think there's time for celebration, and you shouldn't have judgments and opinions against yourself and others. I mean, surely there's a time when you can actually go, you know what, I'm going to just eat it tonight. Or don't even think about it. Do you know, when we're actually bringing these things in, it's just like so much nonsense. If you're actually eating, a moderate and living a moderate life, okay, you deserve to eat whatever you want when you go out. I don't know how often you do it. If you're traveling at the moment, Arlene, then maybe, yeah, sure. But, I know that I get exhausted when I'm on the road, and I actually need a good, substantial, well-balanced meal, particularly breakfast, to get me started or whatever. Some people actually do the fasting. I like the idea of the fast until midday and then finish eating after 8 p.m. Very simple for your body to manage that type of lifestyle. And it's successful. I'm actually more into moderation with everything, and then my body actually likes to fast, so it doesn't like to be over. I don't like to feel sick, and that's to me disgusting. Okay, so I don't do that sort of thing. And again, it helps with your elimination. So what if we just actually went out and had a good time when we went out? Because that way we are actually experiencing wealth and joy. Okay, and no limitations. When you actually limiting yourself, is that the word? Anyway, when you're actually doing that, you're casting judgment on yourself that I cannot have this, or I can only have it at certain times. You're really casting, because I teach on quantum law. So if you're putting frameworks around yourself, you're actually limiting yourself as a creator as to when you can partake of the richness and the goodness. And that's why I wouldn't actually put anything on, a glass of wine. Like, I used to drink because I had to drink just to cover up my life way back when I was in it. But then I went completely off it and abstained completely, came back in it, and a glass here or there is no big deal. 2, if that, is max, and I'm just happy. I'm joyful. My body eliminates. It works. So it's really about unpacking and just coming out of imbalance, and we can do it quite quickly. Cleanse that energy up in the way we think. Okay, it's really, eating bad food is usually something to do with not having the money to express yourself, and so you actually purchasing things that are going to fill you instead of energize you. So it comes from a survival mechanism. And that, I tell you what, this is why I wrote my book, because people don't realize why they're doing things. If you're doing something out of surviving, and of course that's where the poverty often sits, okay, is surviving. And so you're trying to, and it's got connotations to the old war years and things like that, so it's not for today. We don't need it. We actually have everything at our fingertips. We've got the knowledge on everything. It's not hard to find out where some natural produce is. And I think we're in a different space than ever before, and we actually do have the power of purchase. But hope that helps.
Yeah, I used to be on the road a lot too. I used to carry a knife, and I used to go to that outside the supermarket section and get me a little Tupperware, and we'd be doing festivals. I'm selling jewelry, and that's how we started the restaurant. Because people was always like, "Where did you get that?" Because at the festivals they got fried dough, and they don't have anything really too healthy nowadays. More and more, I take that back. But back this was 30 years ago, and yeah, a knife, a fork, a chop, whatever you eat with. But I just like salads. I don't eat them all the time. I had this thing about chips. It's helping me being around my mother because we used to sit and eat. And I'm like, I can't do it. I know this. Yeah, you want to really be scared, and that prison thing is deep. Yeah, there's hardly any fruits or vegetables up in there. And then they take some meats and they take something and they make a meatloaf type of thing, which, oh my God, I can't even imagine. But it is like the worst of the worst. But yeah, that whole system is not trying to help nobody for real. They're just trying to punish. That's it. Over here and get punished. But yeah, I mean, if you don't like making food, then I guess there's options. You can go to, well, you can't go to McDonald's and get. I wouldn't eat those kind of salads. I don't know. There's options. So many options, girl. You just pick a restaurant. You can always find some vegetables. Ask them, do they got brown rice? If you know what I mean, eating out every day for 3 meals. I mean, you might, yeah. But don't say, oh, I ate some chips and if you want to eat them, feel great about them, eat them, and don't complain. But if you don't want to eat them, don't eat them. Eat them once a week. Put 3 chips on your plate. Now that ain't gonna work. No, I know. Yeah, that salt oil thing is, but it really a lot of time is the parasites. So if you want to keep the parasites happy, eat them chips. I know you got 3 minutes. You're muted. Yeah, you're muted.
Oh, we only have 3 minutes before we close out. This is an interesting and exciting conversation. Thank you so much for everyone's contribution. I want to give everyone a chance to speak before we close out. So I know you wanted to speak, Dennis, and then Ruth, you can go ahead, and then I'll close this out.
Okay. Well, speaking on the pre-K to prison pipeline, I'm definitely off up in there. I'm trying to work on an endeavor that's liberating a lot of brothers that's incarcerated. I've spent 10 years in prison, up to date, and that's in increments. Not straight. Is in increments. 5 years here, and I'm not minimizing none of my time. 3 years here, 2 years here. And with that being said, what I experienced within the food from the pre-K to prison pipeline, starting from school to prison, it could be negating the Michelle Obama food thing.
Just move.
Right. So, but into school. But with that being said, up in prison, it's not conscious food. It's not conscious food, although it's food in abundance. And it can be, and that's by design. And if it's by design, it can be redesigned. Then it's fragile.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, and also for being willing to be so vulnerable and insightful with your information, Dennis. We appreciate that. We respect you for being so insightful and sharing with us. Like I said, this is a safe space where you can share and be touched, moved, and inspired. So we have 1 minute left, and we want to be respectful of everyone's time. And so those of you who are on and you've not shared yet, I would love for you to share in the chat so that I can acknowledge some of you. If you don't talk, then I don't know who you are. Okay, so some of you I know because I know the emails, but I need you guys to talk so I can acknowledge you and say thank you. Okay, we'd love to have you close out for us. Anything, last words before we finish? Any last words, Ruth? Do you eat sugar and do you drink coffee? That was one of the questions.
I knew you've been asking that. Okay, everything in moderation. I'm off sugar and pretty well don't need it anyway. So from time to time I'll have a little sugar fix, but not too much at all. It's unnecessary. It's just teaching your body to do something different. Thank you for the invite being here. Look us up on Diamond Matrix Masters at diamondmatrixmasters.net. Okay, it's chuck the plug in. Thank you so much, Arlene.
Thank you for coming.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And we'd love for you to join us again next week, Thursday at 6:30. We're grateful for all of our 400 plus now members strong mastermind group. We are glad that you listen in. We're glad that you're on Facebook and that you're live on YouTube. But we also want you to join us live and chit chat. So those of you who've been a little bit shy with speaking, this is an opportunity for you to grow and expand your brand and your business, just like Ruth had an opportunity to do today, and Dennis, and also Almeka. So go to www.askarleneshow.com and any of the speakers today that you want to get information from. If you weren't able to contact them in the past, then I'd love for you to contact us and we'll give you the segue. Remember, once again, that you can be healthful and successful and do this journey, and we're inviting you to join us. Don't do life alone. Join with us so that you can do life with company and have fun and be even more successful than you would have been by yourself. Thank you so much. You can go where you want to go. You can do what you want to do, and you can be who you want to be in the world. Thank you, everybody, for joining in with us, and we hopefully will see you again next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.